I'm among the people that want to leave.
Hello, everyone. And please, Dejavu, you can start.
All right, no problem. Thank you. Okay. So, guys, welcome to today's Q&A session on the introduction to Figma task. So yeah, so I'm going to be using this session. My name is Dejavu, you already know. So I'm going to be using this session to walk you through the task because I've seen a lot of posts, a lot of people saying they don't understand how to go about the task. Some are confusing the website with one another, this and that. So yeah, I'm going to use this session to tackle those issues. Now, the first thing I want to mention is for the hero section, the website you are supposed to visit is nrc.gov.ng, not the e-ticketing platform, the actual website, this one. So I can see most of you designing, what they call it. I'm seeing you guys designing from to, then pick a date, find a train. No, that's not what you're supposed to design. This is the actual website you're supposed to design. On your portal, the task was also aimed at assessing your attention to details. Because in the previous task, we said we gave you nrc.tps.com, doesn't mean that it's the same site we are giving you again. Those are the little details you need to pay attention to in product design. We intentionally changed that because we are trying to assess your attention to detail. Most of you are designing the wrong thing. So please take note of that. And also, hero section. Now, hero section is the first screen you come across when you open the website. So it's majorly above the fold. We call it the section above the fold. That is the first interface you come across before you start scrolling down. So if you open a website, the first screen you see, that is what is called hero section. It is always above the fold. So the fold is here, where the section cuts off and where you can start scrolling. So this is where the fold terminates, this place here. So what you're supposed to design is just this section. Don't go and design the whole website. If you go and design the whole website, well, good for you, you're learning. But the main thing you're supposed to design is the hero section here. And also for the onboarding, yes, for the onboarding screens now. So I'm seeing a lot of questions on what is onboarding screen, this and that. How do we go about the onboarding task? Now, for the onboarding screens are majorly meant to educate your users on what the product is all about. So you don't have to include sign up form, login form, welcome back, this and that. No. Your onboarding screen is meant to educate. That's why in the task, we said think of 3 features you can include on the app. So those 3 features, you are educating your users on what the app is all about with those 3 features. So these are examples of onboarding screens. We ask you to design 3, but onboarding screens can be more than 3. But I would advise you don't go above 5. 5 should be the maximum, or 4 should be the maximum, because those stuffs, to me, they can get boring, and it's not everyone that pays attention to onboarding this. They just want to get into the app and just find it usable and functional. Yeah, so onboarding screens are meant to educate your users. And yes, so when you're designing onboarding screens, I want to pay attention to some stuffs when you're designing onboarding screens. For onboarding screens should have a number of elements, a number of stuffs that are important. And I'm going to walk you through that. So for your onboarding screens, I think the first thing I'll have to mention is minimize the number of screens when you're designing onboarding screens. Now, this is not for your task. This is just in general, probably when you get a design gig or a design job. Now, when you're designing onboarding screens, minimize the number of screens you are designing, because you don't want to bore your users with a lot of information, this and that. You just want to get into the app and start using, like I said earlier. Then also allow your users to skip. Now, allow your users to skip onboarding process. I mentioned it, I'm going to mention it again. I've mentioned it earlier. Users get bored about using some products. And for me personally, I don't read onboarding. I don't read onboarding. I don't go through onboarding screens. So giving your user the opportunity to skip, the opportunity to skip the onboarding process is very, very important. And also, when you are designing your skip button, make sure to place it somewhere that is accessible. Now, let me show you an example. Now, look at this. If you look at this screen, if you can see my screen, let me zoom in a bit. Okay, now, look at this onboarding screen. You can see where the next button is, see where the skip button is. Now, ideally, this should be a very good experience. But there is something in UI designs that we call heat maps. So there's something we call heat maps. So let me show you something. Touch points on UI screens. I think that should be the search terms. Touch points heat map. Yeah. So now, so this is something that can guide you. Now look at this. Let me show you something that is detailed. Yeah, this is it. So now look at this. You have okay, you have a section that says stretch, like stretch, natural, and this OW, I really don't know what the OW is for, but basically for the natural indicates that okay, this particular zone is it's natural for users to be able to reach that point when navigating or when holding a device. So it's natural for them to, it's easier for them to actually reach that point. Why this stretch is more like, okay, a user have to stretch before they can access those points, those parts of the mobile phone. Why the red parts here are like they no, they are out of reach. So now this heat map, these touch points vary with font sizes. So when you're designing your onboarding screens, make sure your skip button is accessible and majorly within the natural position, which is around this point here. So you can place it at the center. You can place your skip button at the center here. And this is also okay. You can place it, but please don't place it top right or top left, say for aesthetic purposes. No, please make sure they are accessible for your users. So that is one point. That's another point. And also, when you're designing onboarding screens, make sure to be consistent in your visuals. Now, what I'm trying to explain is this: if you are using illustrations, use illustrations throughout. If you are using images for your onboarding, use images for your onboarding throughout. Don't say on one screen you are using illustration, then on another screen you are using image. No, please try and avoid that. Be consistent in your visuals. And also your copy is very, very important. Make sure your copy is simple and straightforward, straight to the point. Don't bore your users with grammar. Don't bore your users with technical terms. Make sure it is, because you are meant to educate your users. You are educating them. You are not, they are newbies. Okay, you get, this is their first time using your app. So make sure you use clear and concise copy. By copy, I mean this is your text here, your header and your caption. Make sure they are clear and simple. And also, your onboarding screen should be shown to users, not to new users, not old-time users. Okay, yes. So when a user is using your app for the first time, make sure it is being shown to them if they are logging in, if they are accessing the app for the very first time. Don't go and show it to someone that is always using your app every time. To be frustrating. So yeah. So I think those are the major, and also steppers, or there's something we call steppers or progress indicator. Always show your progress indicator. Please show your progress indicator to let your user know. They should have an idea of how long the onboarding is going to take. Okay, yeah, so they should have that idea that okay, just 3 screens onboarding. Yeah, I should be able to survive that. If it's 7 or more, please just stay within 4 screens. 4 screens is okay. So, but always show your step as your progress indicator. It's very, very, it's important. Yeah. So always show that. So yeah. And I think another thing I would love to show you guys is probably I'll just walk you through how to just design a screen, an onboarding screen, just one screen. I'm not going to show you everything. And please, what I'm going to be showing you, don't go and replicate it for your task. Please don't go and replicate it for your task. So make sure it is, make sure it is your own idea, your own creative juice. Please. So now, let me just sharp. I'm not going to go through the whole auto layout of the thing because I understand you guys are, this is your first time. So I'm just going to treat you guys as beginners. So now I'm going to create a new frame. The first thing I'm going to do to create a new frame, I'm not going to draw a rectangle. Don't draw a rectangle, please use a frame. So I'm going to come to this tool here, the second tool here to the top left, click on it, select frame. Now to the right, I can see a number of frame devices. So what I'm designing for is mobile. So yeah, So I'm going to choose any one of these mobile screens here. You can choose anyone, iPhone, Android, anyone. You can choose anyone, it's left to you. So I'm going to go with iPhone 13 mini. Click on it. Yeah, so this is my canvas here. This is where I'm going to be designing. Whatever I'm designing has to be within this canvas, within this frame rather. So this is where I'm supposed to design. Let me change this to light mode so you won't get confused. Same light. Can change this to yeah. Okay, so this is my frame. This is where I'm going to be designing. So onboarding one, I'm renaming them. So I'm naming my frames so I can access them easily. So now, if you remember when I was showing you intro to UI, Figma, Figma as a tool, and also in the last class, Tower Guide, we made mention about layout grid. So during the intro to Figma class, I said I make use of columns for my this thing for my designs, so I can constrain on my design. I can constrain on my design to the same width. So yeah, I'm going to make use of 2 counts. I'm changing this to something grayish, opacity at 10. Then my margin, remember I said, please don't make sure your text, your elements are not directly on the edge of your frame here. So give your element distance from the frame. So I'm going to make it of 16 here. Then gutter, I can leave it at 20. So here, so what I'm going to be designing is going to be within this within this constraint. So from here to here. So 16 points from the left and right. So that is what I'm going to be using as my guide, visual guide. Now, the first thing I want to do, like I said, I'm going to make use of illustrations for my onboarding screen. Illustration. Now, there's a plugin. I've seen a lot of questions. Please, what is the best site to get illustration? What is the best plugin to get illustrations from? Now, there's a plugin you can use inside Figma. So the name of the plugin is Story Sets. I remember I showed you guys how to install plugins. So if you don't know how to install plugins, you might have to rewatch that video. But basically, you can just right click on the canvas, go to plugins, then scroll down to the end, then go to browse plugins in community. Then you can search for the name of the plugin you want to install. So the plugin I'm going to be using now for illustration is Story Set by FreePic. Story Set by FreePic. That's the plugin I'm going to be using. So I'm going to click on that. So it might take a while to load up, but yeah, okay. So now this is the interface for Story Sets. So you have a number of illustrations, a lot of illustrations here. So you can just search for whatever illustration you need. So let's say I want to do something on, okay, let me just use the railway listing now. Railway, or let me use train. Yeah. So now this is, once you type in what you're looking for, it brings out a lot of previews. So anything that is related to the term you're searching for, it brings it out. So now, before you bring it into your canvas here, you can edit the color. Okay, yes, you can edit the color of your illustration, whatever color you want it to be. You can edit it. You can change it right from here. So you can, what you just do, just click on this color wheel here. Then now I'm going to make use of green. Please don't change the color of the brand. Make use of the color of the brand, the same color of the brand, or something close. But don't, if they are using green, don't go and use yellow. If they are using blue, don't go and use red. Okay, guys. So I'm going to make use of green. I don't know the particular color shade, but I can just go with, let me see. Let me just go with something. Yeah, something like this. So now once I choose the color I want, you can see it updates across all the illustrations here. So if I say I want red, yeah, you can see. So, but I'm going to stick with green. Yeah. So once I'm done with that, I click on the color wheel to close it. Then now I don't want a lot of details. I don't want it to be distracting. I don't want a lot of details like all this stuff in the background, this shape, and oh, I don't want that. So I can change it here. You can see background detailed. I can click on it. So I can either select hidden, simple, or detailed. So I want hidden, something minimal, not too serious, not too distracting at all. So I'm going to go for hidden. So you can see all the details have gone away. So yeah, so once I'm done with all those, I can then click on it, click on the illustration you want. So I'm going to go for this one here. So click on it, then it brings in the illustration into Figma automatically. So I can close story sets, the plugin, and resize. Now, you remember I told you how to resize, how to scale down your elements in Figma. You can scale it down like this. It's fine, it's no problem. For me, I prefer to use the scale tool here. So there's no difference. That's just my preference. So I can just scale it down how I want it to be. Now, my illustration is not inside the frame, as you can see. It's look at the layers panel here. It is not inside the frame. So please take note of that. Don't do that mistake. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to click and drag it under the frame here. So once it's inside the frame, you can see it gets cropped out. That means it is within the boundary of this my device frame. So I can reposition it. Just click and drag it up like so. Now, if your design is not aligned, probably you have it like this. Please, alignment is key in your UI design. Don't scatter your elements on your UI. Don't scatter them, please. So make sure they're aligned. Remember the alignment properties I told you about. So you have all this here, these alignment features here, these alignment icons here. So now I want to align this to the center like this. You can see it's aligned to the right-hand side, and I don't want that. So I want it to be aligned to the center. So I'm just going to click on this second icon here, align horizontal centers. So I'll just click on it, then it snaps to the center here. Another way I can do it is I can just click and drag. Now you notice as I'm dragging, there are some red lines. There are some red lines that are showing. Yeah, so you can use that to align your elements. So I'm just going to align to the center. So watch what happens. It snaps. Once it gets to the center, it snaps. So that is like an AI this thing in Figma. So it's very, very useful. So you can go through that method, or you can just use this icons here. So I want it to be at the top here and align to the center. So let me reduce it a bit, or let me increase it a bit rather. So yeah, my illustration is set. I'm not making any I'm not making any edits to my illustration. So the next thing I want to do is to create a copy. I'm creating a copy now. Remember, your onboarding screen should have a header, a title, and a body text. That is the caption. So you're educating your users simple and clear text. So remember how we create a text layer So as I was saying, if I got onboarding screenshot, click on the text tool, then click on the frame, then you can start typing your text. Now I want this to say travel with ease. Now this text is too small for me for a header, for a title, it's too small for me. So I have to resize it. I have to make use of a bold font with an increase in size. So I can make use of, for the size, I can say, you remember 8 points grid system, 8 points grid system. So multiples of 8, that's sorry, it's raining here, so my network is fluctuating. Sorry about that. Sorry. So yeah, I said 8 points grid system. So I'm going to make use of 24 for my header here, my title here. Then remember, align to the center and font weight. I'm going to make use of, are you guys seeing my screen? You guys can see my screen. So yeah, so I'm going to make use of a bold, or I'm going to change the font. Let me change the fonts. So I'm going to make use of Manro, my go-to fonts. So I'm use of extra bold font weight. And the color, I don't like pitch black. So I'm going to make use of something off black, not totally black. So yeah. So here my title is set. Then the next thing is my caption. So my caption is going to be smaller. So not more. I'm going to make use of 16 this time around for this. Then the font weight. Remember I said always keep a font weight. Don't use the next font weight immediately. Keep a font weight and use the next one, or use the next one and the next one till you get the one you want. But don't use the immediate one because of visual hierarchy and contrast. So I'm going to make use of regular for this. So for this text, I'm going to say travel with ease with your after booking a ticket on our platform. Enjoy your ride. Uh, have a hassle-free trip. Yeah, so this is my body text here. So now this is having the same color as this, and it's kind of, I don't know which one to focus on. So I can make this, I can change the color of this to something gray. So something like this should be fine. Yeah, something like this is okay. Yeah, so this is my body text here. And I can change the line height. Like I said, I can change the line height to something wide or some, I don't know. It's not, remember the formula I told you about? So your font weight times 2 or your font weight times 1.5. So it doesn't have to be times 2, it can be times 1.5, but within that range of 1.5 and 2. Yeah, that is okay. So this is my line height for my caption here. Now remember 8 points grid system, distance, spacing. This is 10 points from the header, and I don't want that. I'm just going, let me see, I think 16 should be okay. Yeah, 16 is fine. Now I have my title and my body text and my caption ready. The next thing is to create steppers. Remember I said steppers are important in your onboarding screens. So to create steppers, they are just circles. Just circles. Duplicates. Then duplicates. Can group all of them or auto layouts. Then align to the center. Now you can't just have something gray like this. You can't have something gray and just empty like this. You have to let your users know which screen they are on. So now to do that, you can change the color of, if they're on the second screen of the onboarding process, you change this color, you change the color of the second circle to match the color of your brand. So I can just use I can come to fill here, click on the color box here, then click on the pencil here, and just pick out the color I want here. So this is the main color, I think. This should be the main color here. So I just hover on the color I want to sample, click on it, then it takes the color I want. So that's that. That's for the stepper. Then remember, 8 points grid system. 8 points grid system. So I want this to be, this 30, let me see 24. 24 is okay. 32 is okay, anyone you want. So that's for the steppers. Then the next thing is your skip button. Now you can have your skip button or you can have your next button, anyone you want to. But for this, I can say, okay, for them to jump to the registration screen or the sign up screen. So yeah, I can just say, okay, instead of having next, skip, I can just have something like, instead of having a skip button here and having a next button here, I can just have something like, say, get started here. So remember, align. This is not aligned. So align to the center here. Then I said I'm not going to make use of auto layout. So I'm going to make use of rectangles for you for now. I don't want to go into auto layouts and all. So rectangle to draw your button background. So just here to here. Let's say I want the height of my rectangle to be, let's see, 38. Okay, let me give this a color first. So remember, your primary color is your brand color, this. So now this, my text layer is below my rectangle, as you can see from the layers panel. So I'm just going to click and drag it and place it on top here. Now, contrast. Contrast is another principle in UI design, in visual design, basically. So black and this shade of green does not go at all. So make sure to provide contrast. Just make sure your the layer in front is quite visible from your background. So I'm going to change this to white to provide contrast. Now, alignments. Remember, alignments. This my text is not aligned. It's aligned to the center like this, but it's not. It does not have equal spacing from the top and the bottom. You can see we have 14 here and we have 10 here. So make sure they are of the same value. So I can have 12 here, 12 here. So I am using my arrow key to move my elements without holding shifts. So just use your arrow key to move your elements. So you can see they have the same value here now. So that's for my button here. So now, instead of having probably next button here, and you are not having skip here, you can just have something like get started. So this get started takes them to probably a screen that will tell them, okay, are you a new customer or you're an old-time user? So this is acting as a skip button. So that's just something I thought I should tell you. So yeah, so my onboarding screen is ready. Something basic, something simple, not too gang and this thing. So that's that for the onboarding screen. For the hero, I'm not going to. I've already given you. I've given you hints on how to tackle this. This your task, and I've covered majority of what you will need for the hero section too as well. Yes, but let me just give you just a basic foundation of the hero section. So remember how we create frames. Click on the frame icon here or hit the shortcut F on your keyboard or A on your keyboard, A or F. Then select desktop, then select the frame size. So I'm going to go for this dimension here. So this is my hero section here, the baseline for my hero section. Now for the grid, what I use for grid for desktop, it varies with anybody. Is not there's no one way to it. Whatever that rocks your boat, you can use it. So but for me, I make use of columns, then 12 counts, and margin. I want my elements to start 120 pixels from the edge of the frame. So that is the margin. So I'm just going to fix in 120 here, then click enter. For the gutter, I can leave it at 20. I can set it to 16 or 24. Let me leave it at 24. Yeah. So remember, B8, B8, B8. So it's not distracting. So close it. So there you go. You can start designing your hero section. You can get the logo from Google. Just Google NRC logo PNG. So just Google NRC logo PNG. You have a lot of results on that. So just download the icon, then bring it into your frame here, and just design. Like you don't have any. I covered majority of what you have here. So what you can use, I covered majority of them here. So and also, yeah, I was seeing some UI designs that some people were putting in background, but you can't differentiate. Like the background was clashing with the text, basically. Please avoid that. Avoid that. So the way to avoid that, let me just okay, so let me and just bring this in. Okay, yeah, so I can use this. Let me just bring it in. I know you can't see my screen, but hold on. Yeah, so copy. So this is the background I'm going to be using for my hero section. Now, make sure it's inside your frame here. So align vertical and horizontally. Scale up to fill your frame. Now, instead of you typing, just typing directly on this, let me say, welcome to NRC. If you like, increase the size of this. Yes, increase the size. The contrast is still poor. There will be some parts that you will not be able to read well. So a way to avoid this is you just create a frame, or just you can create a rectangle, but majorly I use, but you can create a rectangle. Just draw a rectangle over the image, not on the text, rectangle over the image. As you can see, the rectangle, the image alone, the text. I'm going to give the rectangle a black color. Let me remove this. Yeah, so I can set this to 80. Yeah, 80 or 70. Yeah, 70 is fine. So you can see there is contrast. Basically, that's all. That's all I just wanted to let you guys know about your task. So I've told you what hero session is. I've told you what onboarding screen is. So, and the elements of an onboarding screen. So if you have any questions, you can just ask. And I and other mentors here will be happy to take your questions. So Are there any questions?
Dejavu, check the chat. There are questions posted already.
Hi, Dejavu, check the Zoom chat here.
Dejavu, check the chat. There are questions posted already.
Lloyd, maybe you should just go ahead with answering the questions. What do you think?
Dejavu, can you hear me? So first question says, is this say we must use the NRC green color for our onboarding screens?
Yeah, he said we should stay with the colors. So yeah, use the colors, use the brand colors. It's part of Lloyd, maybe you should just go ahead with answering the question.
Oh, okay. Someone said, I'm using an image for my onboarding and there's no provision to change the color. Will it be a problem having a different color of image? How do I change the color? Well, I think you just have to look for images that are similar, that are not very would I say far from each other in the way they look. So you have to look for images that complement each other, so your design doesn't look so far apart. Then one other person said, is it necessary for the logo of the company to be on the onboarding screens? Well, it is not necessary. I think sometimes some apps do have the logo of the company on the onboarding, some don't. So it depends. It depends on the designer or the team, the design team, and what they want, what they choose to show in their onboarding screen. Then another question says, you used 24 for margin the last time, but now you are using 16. Please explain. Well, I think 24 is okay. 24 is actually nice and okay, normally. Well, there are standards to this, depends on where you're working, what brand guideline you're using, what design system you're using. All of these have standards, depends on where you are applying them. So someone could use 24, someone could use 16. But the most important thing is there should be a space between the edge of your frame and where your content lies within the frame. I think that's what's most important. Then another one says, could you repeat the part about creating a rectangle around the image to make it easy to type on the image? I think Dejavu is going to take that. Then someone says, for the hero page, after drawing the columns, does the picture still cover the whole frame? Yes, the picture could actually cover the whole frame. Yes, definitely. Picture could actually cover the whole frame. But every other thing, like the components you need to put inside that frame, may not essentially go out of your grid lines. So, but your image, let's say hero image, could actually span across the whole screen. But everything else needs to be inside the grid. So then someone says, please, as regarding the grid, when I add colors, the gutter shows a color aside white. Please, am I wrong? Please, am I doing anything wrong? The gutter shows a color aside white. I don't understand. But when you're using the grid and you create a grid, it shows this pink or reddish color initially. Then gutter is always showing white, yes, naturally. So you're not doing anything wrong if it's showing white. But if it is not showing white, then check. Maybe you have more than one grid, and one is maybe one is on grid and the other one is on columns or rows. So check if you have more than one. But essentially, you should have the gutter to be white. Then somebody else says, please, how do I create a slideshow of images on one frame? Google keeps referring me to carousel videos. Well, carousel videos are essentially slideshows. So maybe they are like revolution sliders, depending on what it's called from places to places. So I think in prototyping and interaction design, that will be taught, because it's not something that is just direct, like it can just be shown directly like that. It will confuse a lot of people. So let's take it one step at a time. When it gets to interaction design and prototyping, that will be taught. Then someone says, please, are we to create exactly what's going on? Are we to create exactly what's on the website link we were given for the Euro section part of the task? Not essentially create the exact thing on that website. No, we want you to look at the website, create your own Euro section. Look at it, look at the flaws. You guys have done design thinking. Think about it. What does this Euro section need? What is the essence of the Euro section? I think Udwak shared some articles with you, during the week. And if you go into that article, it essentially tells you what Euro section is and what needs to be, how your Euro section, what needs to be in your Euro section, what your Euro section should communicate. So if you go through all of that, you would be able to understand, okay, this is what a Euro section needs. Then based on that, go through the assignment again, read it, then understand that, oh, you just need to make it better. Then how do you make it better? It is from your understanding of what you have gone through about Euro section. That's what makes you understand it to make it better. So that's essentially what you need to do. And somebody else said, good afternoon. Must we use grid and columns for our task? Well, as a designer, I would say it is very important to use grids and columns, because it will help guide the way your design is being structured inside whatever frame you are using. It just helps guide your design. Without it, you could actually make a lot of mistakes, so many mistakes. But then having it would help set you on the right path. So it is essential and important you learn to use it. Because if you don't use it, you can easily tell by looking at your designs that, oh, probably this person didn't use a grid. That is why their designs looks this way. So that's very possible too. And I'll just check through some more and see if there are any. Okay, so I don't think there are so many other questions. Can our heading be above the illustration in the body screen? Yes. If you look for inspirations, you could actually see there are different kinds of.
Yeah.
What did you say, Dejavu? Have you seen something?
No, I don't think so. You can go on.
Okay. So someone saying, can I heading be above the illustration in the onboarding screens? Yes. Your heading can be above the illustration in the onboarding screens. Then someone else says, I need clarification on how to calculate for grid, space, spacers, and typography. Well, there's not much to calculate, so but you just have to okay, maybe there will be resources that will be sent for you to understand that better about calculating the grids and spaces and typography. Then someone says, I used column, but when I create the sign up and fill the bar with the green color, the color shows purple color. Yeah, it's fine. You know, it's like you're writing on a sheet of paper. Your sheet of paper has lines. But if you decide to write on two lines together and there's a line crossing in between what you are writing, it doesn't make what you are writing bad, or it doesn't mean that, okay, what you're writing is not correct. But there's a line. So the line are just guides when you are writing. That's how grid works. So just because you draw something on your grid and you add the color and the color looks different, doesn't mean that, okay, something's entirely wrong. No, you just have to understand that, oh, this is just like a line, or this is like, when I mean line, I mean you're writing a note. So, but then this is just like a predefined way for me to see what is, or how to structure my elements better. So you just have to have that at the back of your mind, and you can easily switch it off. You can easily put the eye icon and switch it off if it is disturbing you. So let me go to another question. Please, how do we know what grid size to use? Well, play around. The more articles you read, the more you would understand. Dejavu is using 2. I mostly use 3. Some people use 8. I think Bomb Boss yesterday used 8. So if you just check the videos from the intro to Figma videos, watch the video again. Yesterday's video also, watch it again. You understand better that way. And someone says, are we also redesigning the app onboarding screens to make them better, or we have to think of a totally new feature for the app and design new onboarding screens for it? Well, let's say a bit of the two. If the app has onboarding screens, that's fine. But then think of features that it could be even be features that don't exist in maybe Nigeria Railway yet. It could be maybe the ones that are available in Korea Railways. So just think of features trains should have, or a railway service should have, and put it there. Then design the onboarding screens to show your features. That's basically what it's about. Then with the nav bar fill up the old screen, or we should use the column we added, because I noticed the picture fills up the old screen. I think that question is being directed to you. Because well, navbar should never fill up the whole screen. That is strange to see a navbar fill up the whole screen. It doesn't really happen. It's that you have the mobile navbar or the web navbar, which is on top. Then the mobile navbar, which is always at the bottom of the screen. So I don't really understand what you are trying to say. Then someone says, how did it change the contrast of the image in the arrow section? So when you click on your image, let me just see if I can share my screen. Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. If you
Dejavu, your network is not so
Let
good.
me just answer the question. So how did I create contrast? So once you have your frame, let me delete all of this. So you hello, can you hear me now?
Dejavu.
Yeah, can you hear me? Is it clear now?
Yeah, it's clear now, but if you can increase the tone of your voice a bit.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
And also, they can't see your screen.
Yeah, so so I said once you bring in your frame,
Dejavu.
once you bring in your frame and your image, let's say this is your image here.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Is Dejavu presenting?
Yeah, can you see my screen now?
Not yet.
Your network is bad, but when you start talking, it goes down.
All right, so I'm just going to keep taking the questions. Then, all right, so someone says she did not have fill up. Okay, I think I've taken that. How do we change the contrast of the image in the row section? So to change the contrast, you go to your fill options. On the right sidebar, you go to your fill options where the image, instead of fill, it will show image. So click on it. Then under the image will show. Then under the image, you see some settings, something like saturation, contrast, color, warm, temperature. So you see all of that. Then you just you take the slider, you slide it to the left or right. So if you see contrast there, you take it to the left, it reduces the contrast of the image. If you take it to the right, it increases the contrast. So that's how you'd find your way around with the contrast. Then someone says, is it compulsory to use images for NRC in the onboarding screens, or we can use illustrations or other images? You can use illustrations. It's not compulsory you use the images for NRC. You can use other images. You can use illustrations. Just be creative with whatever you do. Now someone says, but please, my design looks exactly like this. Do I need to change it? Although the write-up is different. Well, I don't know what your design looks like. All right, so someone else says, quickly, for the design thinking assignment, what problem are we solving? The physical product will load into the loss of UX. Yes, definitely. Please read the assignment again. You understand better. Someone also says, to get one Figma link to submit for both tasks, I created 2 pages on one Figma document, each representing a task. Is that okay? Yeah, that's absolutely fine. But you can also combine 2 tasks to appear on just one page. So, but what you've done is fine too. Someone says, Yeah, don't worry about the screen being black. Just listen to my voice. I'm going to be answering the questions. Good afternoon. Okay, you missed classes, malfunction of calendar, and classes are not showing again. As long as you attend your classes and you understand what's going on in the class, then you're absolutely fine. Someone says, navbar on website, does it have to extend beyond column we created in terms of width, or should we constrain it to fill into the column? Okay, so let me just explain something. So a navbar, let's say there's a frame or a rectangle to your navbar. Your rectangle will fill from edge to edge, from one edge to the other edge. But the content inside that rectangle or that frame, the content inside should not go beyond your grid. The content should not go beyond your grid. So when you start putting the logo, home, say explore, whatever you have in your navigation, they should not go outside of your grid. They should be inside the grid. So that's essentially the way it's supposed to be. So the background should span from the edge of the frame to another, but then the content inside should not go beyond the grid. And I think that's all the questions we currently have. I can't see any more questions here. So yeah, you keep saying you can't see the screen. I just said listen to my voice, ask your questions. I'll try to explain and answer your questions. Someone says, how do I remove the background from NRC logo? All right, so you can search online on Google for the NRC logo PNG file. You can search for it, say NRC logo PNG. When you search for that, it should actually bring up the one that has no background, like options, files, the NRC logo that has no background. But then if you have the one that has the background and you really need to remove the background and you can't find any other one, you can download background eraser from Figma, like install a plugin that is called background eraser from the Figma community. So if you go to Figma community, just look for background eraser. Then when you search for background eraser and you install it, you just run it like the normal plugin on your image. So you click on the image, then you run the plugin, and then when you click on remove background, it removes the background of your image. So you can easily do that. Probably there will be a way to explain that better moving along, but then if you can hear me, then that's a way you can actually achieve that. And someone says, I am a bit lost. Is it one onboarding app per website, like NRC, one onboarding site and one Euro site, same as other websites? Please explain. Okay, so the onboarding should have 3 screens. There should be 3 features, each feature on a screen. So you should have 3 screens for your onboarding. And onboarding is for applications, mobile app. Then the website is just the Euro section of the website. The website link has been provided. So you just go to the link, click on the link, wherever it takes you to, the Euro section is what you see instantly. So that Euro section is what you have been told to redesign. Just make it better, design a better one, look for inspirations, then come up with a better Euro section for that design. Then someone says, yeah, you have to remove background plugins to remove background. Yes, definitely. And I say, how can I duplicate the whole frame for another screen? Just click on the frame and press Ctrl D. Click on the frame, then press Ctrl D to duplicate. Or you can just, well, that's the easiest way. Just click on the frame and press Ctrl D. Then someone says, must Euro section have a booking template? No, it's not compulsory. It is not a ticketing website. It is a normal website. So it is not compulsory. It has a booking template. I think Dejavu said that earlier when he started the session. said no. Then someone says, is it compulsory to use images for NRC in the Euro page, or we can use illustrations? I've answered that already. Yes, you can use illustrations or other images. You can use illustrations or other images. And someone says, is there an updated calendar? The current one shows no more classes, so that we do not miss any more classes or sessions. Don't worry, the calendar will be updated. You'll be able to see classes you'll be having. Then someone says, how do people make the onboarding have a phone background? What do you mean by phone background? I don't understand what you mean by phone background. Maybe you should try to rephrase your question. What do you mean by phone background? Try to rephrase your question. Someone says, please, do we have to use the exact color, or the color can be changed? You have to use the exact color. You have to use the exact color of the brand. You have to use the brand colors. So go there, go and look for NRC website color style, color guideline. You would see it there. So you see their colors. You have to use their colors. So yeah, should the grid be visible? When you are designing, your grid should be visible so you don't make mistakes. When you want to see things clearly, you want to see how your design looks, you can turn it off. And when you want to continue your design, you can turn it on again to help maybe align your elements, see where things needs to be properly. Yeah, so you can easily turn it off and turn it on. Someone says, should onboarding have the logo at the top? It is not compulsory. It is not compulsory your onboarding screen has the logo at the top. It is not compulsory. If you want to put it, fine. Put it in a way that will make your onboarding screens look good. And if you feel it should not be added, then that's fine too. Yeah, that's the end of the current questions we have. Okay, I'm getting more questions now. Someone says, is it fine if we put on two? Is it fine if we put on 2 pages? Not sure if that was answered. Network is bad here. Sorry about your network, but what do you mean by if we put on 2 pages? I don't understand what you meant. If we put on 2 pages, please, can you rephrase your question? And someone said, if we feel that the website should have train search or booking option like every other railway website, would that be okay? One of the tutor advised that we check other websites. Yes, I think check other websites, check how they do things. Then there are different ways to add maybe bookings or ticketing options to your website. There are different ways to achieve that. So, but look at how it's done on other websites. Think of how you can improve on it. Think if it is important, or if it's not important. And remember, the NRC is just like it's not like, okay, you're changing or reinventing anything. I think naturally they have a ticketing website. But then the NRC website you have been given is just a website to showcase the whole Nigeria railway system. So since they already have a ticketing website separately, then why do you need to add the ticketing option to the website they have to just showcase the whole railway system? So you have to think of the two. Think of, oh, why do they have these? Why not combine it into one? Or just think of what you are doing and think, okay, does it make sense? Can you back it up? Does it have that's where your design thinking lessons come into place. Does it have a reason why you are doing that? Do you have a conviction that, okay, that's the best way to go about it? And okay, why those other websites that you said you've checked and they did something like that, why did they do something like that? So you have to consider all those factors. And someone says, I think the phone background someone talked about is that phone frame that shows in presentation. Okay, Judy meant people who make their designs look like it's on the screen of a real phone, the phone background-ish. Well, naturally, okay, you can create that yourself. You can design that yourself. And sometimes some people use plugins and other files to get it. So there are different ways to go about it. I'm sorry, I won't be able to show you right now. But then moving forward, probably when as classes go on, all of that will be introduced to you. You'll be able to see all of that. But then you can also check on YouTube. You can research about that. How do you find mock-ups for phones? How do you add your designs to mock-ups? Check YouTube. You will find a lot of videos on YouTube. Then someone says, please, while posting the classes on our calendar, kindly specify the track so that we can know which track it's for. All right, all those will be taken into consideration. Are we to submit with the grade on or off? Well, if you submit with the grade on, if I'm checking your submission, I don't think I would see the grades. The grades are just for you and your eyes alone. So if you turn them on, they are for your eyes. If you turn them off, they are for your eyes. It doesn't, would I say, it doesn't affect what the person you sent your link to is saying, something like that. Then someone says, how do we make the end result of the onboarding screen to have an iPhone look? Okay, this question again. Well, just check the community, check the Figma community. Most of everything you need, you'll find it in the Figma community. And if you have any issue with how to use any of what you searched for, just check YouTube. Just search for it on YouTube. YouTube will give you different ways to achieve everything you need to achieve. So just what you are looking for is a mock-up. It is called a mock-up. So please just look for mock-ups online. Check how to add your Figma screens to a mock-up. You will definitely get a lot of videos for it. Then someone also says, okay, so I've already answered that. Is it fine if we put the onboarding screens on one page and the Euro page on another, or should they be on one page? You can put them on one page beside each other. They belong to the same task. So why do you want to separate them? As long as there's space in between them and they are not on top of each other, then absolutely fine. So you can put them in the same page. Just put a little space in between them and you are good to go. And someone says, some people onboarding looks like real phone, like the onboarding was done on a phone. I see some phone pictures on the onboarding. I don't quite understand, but we say it looks like a real phone. It's basically maybe mock-up you're talking about. So just search on YouTube how to add mock-ups to your design. Yeah, so yeah, somebody is answering that already. It says a mock-up plugin, you can use it to export your design. So yeah, just look for the mock-up. And so how do we share both designs using one link? Does it mean we have to do both on one canvas? Yes, you can do them on one canvas. There's nothing stopping you from doing them on one canvas. Just put space in between them. Do them on one canvas. That's fine too. Are we watching a dark screen? Please consider us. Sorry about that. I think it's network issues. Then someone says NRC also has booking option, but it is at the bottom. So I think you can decide to put it up. Well, if, like I said earlier, if your decision to put it up, if you actually feel, oh, this is the best decision to make, then fine. But remember, you are designing an hero section, and your hero section is actually supposed to tell and pass a message. So you have to think about the impact of your design. What is the end result of your design? Like, if I do this, what does it bring to this whole platform? What does it do? What does it add? What problems does it create? What problem does it solve? You have to think about all of that before you just start moving things around or adding things to places. Then someone said, can you explain how Mr. Dejavu made the text visible on hero image by placing a rectangle on the text? Let me read that again. Please, can you explain how Mr. Dejavu made the text visible on the hero image by placing a rectangle on the text? Well, I don't quite understand, but if you put your text on the image, your text might get lost in the way the image looks like. So you can put a rectangle under your text. your rectangle being under the text makes the text come out and looks better on the image that is the background. So there are ways to achieve that. I can't explain it now. It's something you have to see to understand. And I'm not entirely in the place where I can share my screen and show you that. So hopefully with time, there may actually be maybe a way to help you understand that better. Then someone says, can we reduce the amount of navigation text on the website, or we have to use all the 7 views? If you think it should be reduced, if you think there's need to reduce it and you can find better ways of representing what they added, then that's fine. That's absolutely okay. And I'm just going to be rounding things up now. Someone says, do we need to add mock-up? No, it is not necessary. It is not necessary. Yeah, just sending us your Figma link. So no, it's not necessary. You don't have to add mockup. Can I do my onboarding using Android's large phone frame? Yes, definitely you can. As long as it's a mobile phone frame, yes, you can. Sometimes Figma is an endless space. Minimize it and work on your hero tags on the same page. You have to submit only one link. Yes, yeah, fine, yes. So I think the question is about overlay. Yes, overlay is not something I can essentially just describe without you saying how it works. So I'm sorry about that. So I think that's all the questions we currently have, and thank you guys for joining. Thank you for coming.
Okay, so you guys should with what we've covered, like the review of the tags, at least it should be better now, and you should be able to carry on with the tags. If you still have questions, confusions, or continue to chat on Slack. Yeah, cheers, guys.